Hi everyone, this is John from the Edge Learning Center, and I'm back to go over a question from the IELTS exam. This particular question is on matching headings, and I've found that this is one of the more challenging question types for my students because it requires us to read paragraphs and get like a comprehensive understanding of it rather than find specific information and use that to answer. So essentially what the question provides us is a list of headings that we see in front of us. There are 8 of them. And we have to match these headings with paragraphs from a passage. So we have 8 possible choices. And we're going to have 5, although really 4 after you count the example, paragraphs to match these headings with. And the primary function of the headings is to summarize the main idea of the passage. Okay, so we'll have these headings and we'll have a passage quite like the one that we have in front of us. I've only given you the first paragraph because we're just going to go over the first of the question. So to match any of the 8 headings with a paragraph like this one, we need to follow. Our first step is to read and summarize the gist of the paragraph. And to do that, we have to follow 3 guidelines. So the first is when we have read the paragraph and we've come up with an idea of the main idea, but basically like a sentence that summarizes. We can find that the first sentence in the paragraph that we have read often functions quite well to summarize the entire paragraph. Not always, mind you, but it often contains the main idea of the paragraph, and therefore it's going to be pretty close to the answer that we're looking for. This is not always the case. It just so happens it will not be the case with the example that we're going to look at. The other guideline, or the second one, is that we need to come up with a summary sentence, as I've said, and it cannot be too general or too specific. If it's too general, really all of the possible answer choices could apply. That certainly won't help us. It doesn't do us any good at all, any the answer choices. And mind you, if the gist that we come up with is specific, the problem then is that it's not going to match any of the possible answer choices, and it's too focused on a particular. So we need something in between. Lastly, we should write the summary down so that we don't forget it. This means when we come up with the main idea of the paragraph, we should jot it down, usually just in note form. I'm going to create a complete sentence for the sake of this demo, but we should jot down the main idea relatively quickly so that we don't have to keep going back and forth to the paragraph. Wait, what was the main idea again? Does it match this heading? We don't want to go back and forth too much. Time is our enemy on the IELTS. So with these 3 guidelines in mind, let's actually apply this to the paragraph. So here we have it. So as we can see from the title, this is based on the physics of traffic behavior. So it's probably going to be about the science of the different moving bodies in traffic, which I guess would be cars. Okay, so let's get into the paragraph and come up with it. Okay, so it begins. Some years ago, when several theoretical physicists, principally Dirk Helbing and Boris Kerner of Stuttgart, Germany, began publishing papers on traffic flow in publications normally read by traffic engineers, they were clearly working outside their usual sphere of investigation. Okay, so this is about these 2 physicists and they're studying traffic, and that's kind of outside of their realm of expertise. They don't necessarily cars. They had noticed that if they simulated the movement of vehicles on a highway using the equations that describe how the molecules of a gas move, some very strange results emerged. Great. So they're employing some of their physics models, their equations and so forth, and applying them to cars, the way that cars move around. Okay. Of course, vehicles do not behave exactly like gas molecules. For example, drivers try to avoid collisions by slowing down when they get too near another vehicle, whereas gas molecules have no such concern. Great. All right. So this is just a difference between the way gas molecules behave, maybe more random, and the way that cars behave, which is they're operated by people, so there's some variance. The driver is cautious, so comparison only goes so far. They're not entirely like. All right, fine. Next, however, the physicists modified the equations to take the differences into account, and the overall description of traffic as a flowing gas has proved to be a very good one. The moving gas model of traffic reproduces many phenomena seen in real-world traffic. Okay, great. So overall, comparing the movement of molecules in gas and comparing it's basically that's quite good at understanding how cars move around in traffic. Great. Okay. So with all of that in mind, we come up with a summary. I've written mine in a full sentence. So the main idea here seems to be something about two physicists try to understand highway traffic by comparing vehicles, meaning cars, molecules. That seems to be the big idea of this paragraph. So now with that in mind, okay, we have to move on to step 2. So we have to choose the answer closest to the summary. If we've done a good job coming up with an accurate summary, this should lead us to the correct answer. Okay, so 2 guidelines to follow is that we should paraphrase answer choices if it is necessary for understanding. Okay, so what this means is when we actually read the possible answers, we might have to rework them in our heads and say, oh, it basically means this. This helps us with our understanding. The other guideline we have to follow is use process of elimination. We might read one, it doesn't look so good. Another one, it looks pretty good, but wait, we still have to go through the other ones, and we're going to choose the one that's closest to the paraphrase that we came up with. Okay, so let's actually do this step. Okay, so we can eliminate the first one because this one's done for us. And B uses I, dramatic effects can result from small changes in traffic nature, or its heading. So that one's gone. We now have 7 to choose from. Okay, so I've placed in red our summary at the bottom. So we basically need to find something that is close to two physicists try to understand highway traffic by comparing cars or vehicles to the molecules. Okay. So what we end up doing is now looking at the remaining headings. So number 2 says how a maths experiment actually reduced traffic congestion. This doesn't sound right. That whole paragraph was about comparing one model or a set of equations for molecules to traffic. It doesn't say anything about math experiments, and it doesn't talk about the results, the traffic. Okay, so we're going to eliminate that one. So now we're down to 6. Okay, so the next one says how a concept from one field of study was applied in another. Well, this one looks actually pretty good because the concept of one field would be like the way that molecules move around, and it's applied to another, which is the way that traffic, uh, vehicles in traffic. So that one looks quite good. Okay, so we're going to mark that one. Now we still have another 5 to go through. We have a lack of investment in driver training. This isn't talking about investment in money and training. Next one, areas of doubt and disagreement between experts. It doesn't talk about that. It mentions the 2. This we have that in a summary, but we're not talking about how they don't. How different countries have dealt with traffic congestion. No mention of other countries in the paragraph or in our summary. Next, the impact of driver behavior on traffic speed. We haven't talked about traffic speed. And then the last one, a proposal to take control away from the driver. No, not that one either. So we cross those ones out. Process of elimination leads us to choose 3 for our answer. And that should be it. That's basically how we arrive at a correct Thank you. See you next time.